beautiful ladies of Golden Delight. Ladies and gentlemen, please support the Super Band Battle in Durham, North Carolina, held October 21st, featuring some of the bands: Howard University, North Carolina Central University, Winston-Salem State University, Virginia State University, Johnson C. Smith University, and your North Carolina A&T State University Blue and Gold Marching Machine. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together once again for your North Carolina A&T State University Blue and Gold Marching Machine. Ladies and gentlemen, September 11th, 2001 was a tragic day in America. We as a people didn't get weaker, we got stronger, because we believe in God and we trust in His Word. May God continue to bless America. Sit back and relax as the band plays What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to dedicate this show to the thousands of men, women, and children who lost their lives at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and in Pennsylvania. Please put your hands together for the brave workers. In God we trust.
Marching Aggies of North Carolina A&T in our Wittenauer Band Showcase. We're at the half in Greensboro, North Carolina, where the A&T Aggies lead the Florida A&M. A picture-perfect day in Greensboro, North Carolina. The Florida A&M Rattlers come a-calling on the North Carolina A&T Aggies on Aggies Homecoming Weekend. It's the Me.
The difference in the signs of mortality is that in the case of Florida A&M, their loss came outside the conference, so it doesn't affect their championship status. It's homecoming Saturday. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Greensboro, but the bottom line is the Aggies are fighting for their championship lives.
And we will have the opportunity to see some very special players, beginning with number 22 for A&T.
Maurice Hicks comes off of a record-setting performance, 437 yards against Morgan State last week. He dropped 236 on Florida A&M last year. He's averaging 182 to lead the nation right now. Simply the consummate all-around back. Physical between the tackles. He has the speed to get to the outside. And if somebody's going to be charged with the job of tracking him down, it's LaVie Brown. third in the conference in tackles. He leads Florida A&M. He's great from side to side. He's going to have to be the surest tackler. Last year, Dwayne, it was a situation where the Rattlers missed a lot of tackles. They can't afford that today in Greensboro.
Our U.S. Airways quarterbacks comparison, Messrs. Phillips and Gray.
Well, Quinn Gray is a quintessential drop-back passer. He's the guy that, as you've seen over the last couple of weeks, his touchdown to interception ratio has really improved. Likes to sit in the pack, read, make the second, third, fourth read, but he's also shown the ability to direct the running offense. He's become really adept at managing the field a lot better than in the past.
And last week, Phillips kind of struggled against South Carolina State.
And it's funny that we talk about management because that's what Phillips has to do. Not necessarily make the big plays, but do enough so that he doesn't hurt his team, minimize the mistakes, and just make sure you handle the ball to number 22.
Friends, the air is palpable. It is tension-filled. For more on that, let's bring in the third member of our crew, Sam Smith. Sam.
Dwayne and Mark, Florida A&M already has something to prove to A&T after losing the last two meetings. Now they're dissed at the fact that A&T has made the Rattlers their homecoming opponent. Check out these quotes from FAM running back Travis Williams. I feel totally disrespected. You should play Norfolk State, South Carolina State, or somebody for homecoming. You don't schedule FAMU. A&T defensive back Montrell Pittman responded by saying, this is as big as you can get. You can always notice the tension. When we go down there, their fans and people are yelling at us. So now that they're coming here, our fans can yell at them. The tension was clearly evident about an hour before kickoff. The two teams meeting at midfield in a show of force to see who could back each other down. I think it's going to be that way all afternoon long, Dwayne and Mark.
I think you're right, Sam. Bill Hayes told us yesterday that this is not his idea of an easy homecoming playing Florida A&M. We think it's going to be a great ball game. Aggies and Rattlers, the kickoff coming up. Greensboro, North Carolina. North Carolina A&T has won the toss and elected to receive as they prepare to take on the Florida A&M Rattlers. A&T comes in fourth place in the conference. Florida A&M in first place. You see this crowd. This is such a big game, Mark Gray. They had to add seats.
Well, normally that is the case here in Greensboro on homecoming, and you know, it's just a testament to the pride. And you talk about a lot of bad blood between two teams. Bill Hayes also told us yesterday, when you've got two teams and two programs so rich in tradition, they have so much pride. Normally when they match up, there is going to be a bit of an edge.
Well, series history, Florida A&M leads it. Last year, A&M lost in Tallahassee 30-10.
And that might be looked at as the coming out party of Maurice Hicks. That was where, because up until that point in the season, he had been sort of like the guy playing behind Adrian Parks, and he exploded in that game, and it's been, his stock, shall we say, has been on the rise ever since.
Well, Lennon Nesbitt is preparing to kick off. He will kick off to Jamal Jones. He's back at his own 3-yard line. This one has been highly anticipated, and we think it's going to be one heck of a game.
And this little delay just adds to the drama, doesn't it?
Well, it was interesting. You heard Sam Smith earlier talk about the two teams getting at each other a bit before the game. What happened was the Florida A&M players were on the logo at midfield, and the A&T players were not interested at all in seeing that happen.
Oh, well, you gotta, you know, dogs protect their turf. Don't you understand that? They made a lot of movies about that.
We asked Billy Joe last night about being the homecoming opponent for A&T. He says, look, we're not any happier about this than they are because it just increases their resolve.
Yeah, you don't need a homecoming edge to jumpstart a game like this. Just tighten up your chin straps, fasten your shoes a little bit more tight, and let's get it on.
And we are just about ready now. Homecoming 2001 for North Carolina A&T taking on Florida A&M. The Rattlers come in ranked 16th. There's Jamal Jones back to receive the kick of Lennon Nesbitt. We're underway at Aggie Stadium. Jones fields it. Has room down the sideline. where he is run out of bounds. A&T offense will be led by Damian Phillips. 583 yards on the season, 4 touchdowns. Mark, this is a fellow who is still trying to find his footing.
Well, you're absolutely right. A&T has really diversified their offensive attack in the last couple of years, and they're putting a greater demand on the quarterback these days to make reads and to manage a polished and solid game.
Our United States Postal Service backs and receivers for A&T: Hicks, Smith, Jones, Ship, and Bryson.
Very talented as Ship. Bryson is a legitimate NFL prospect.
1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from its own 35-yard line. First give to Hicks, and it was fumbled and recovered and picked up by Shedrick Copeland. And Florida A&M gets an early break.
That's an unbelievable break. A little shocked that A&T is going to come out and try to out-finesse a team that's trying to finesse them on defense. Good pitch there. There was some penetration on the left side of that defensive front. Looked like Bynum was in there. Charged the ball loose. It's picked up by Copeland. And what a great start for the Rattlers.
And Copeland really made that play happen. He closed off the avenue for Hicks and then went on to recover the fumble. So now that sets up Quinn Gray and the Florida A&M offense from what for them most times is point-blank range.
Gotta like their chances here. And see, this is where Gray has become so dangerous, checking off at the line of scrimmage.
Behind him is Travis Williams. Quinn Gray. Some gaudy numbers. 1,270 yards total.
Now he leads the Florida A&M now on all-time in pass attempts, coming up on the yardage mark here shortly. Outstanding career in Tallahassee.
2nd down. Ball on the 9. Gray appears to be changing the play once again. United States Postal Service backs and receivers for Florida A&M: Marchbanks, Brown, Bowe, Junius, and Allen.
And on that previous carry, you had Kelsey Lordius in there that time. And no huddle for A&T.
2nd and goal from the 3. Gray kept it. Very close, but not in. Last week, Gray, as Mark mentioned, broke the career school mark for pass completions. He's 1 pass attempt away from tying the school record of 879. 1st and goal from the 1. Florida A&M, opportunity to score first after a unlikely fumble by Maurice Hicks. Gray on the keeper.
Well, it depends on forward progress or not. Yeah, he's in. I think the line judge is going to give it to him.
Touchdown, Florida A&M. You can see the evidence of the tension between the two teams as they try to separate players.
Well, this is a gift touchdown, and there's nothing fancy. He's going to get up under his all-conference center and going to follow him. And this is just a battle. This guy that really, really wants it, and he's able to force his way in. I mean, that's just brute strength. Remember, Quinn Gray is no small kid, 6'4", 230 pounds. That's a lot to be trying to bring down.
That brings on Juan Vasquez for the extra point. And it's 7-0. Florida A&M takes advantage of a Maurice Hicks fumble and marches down the field a short amount of space and scores 7. Carolina Quinn Gray takes advantage of a mistake by A&T as he marches the Rattlers down the field. Relatively short bit of real estate. They score first, Mark Gray.
Gift touchdown, major mistake by the Aggies. A little shocked that they would come out and try to go finesse when they'd had so much success over the past couple of years just playing blood and guts football. Suffice to say, no more trickery for the blue and gold.
Nesbitt's kickoff to Jamal Jones. Kicks it away from Jones.
Looks like that was Montrell Pittman who took that return, Dwayne.
Our National Car Rental scoring drive, 3 plays, 10 yards, 1 minute, 12 seconds, great 1-yard run. Talk about efficiency.
You can't ask for better than that. When the D gives you a gift, you got to cash it in for 6, especially on the road in a big game. And Florida A&M is in control, albeit temporarily.
So Damian Phillips and North Carolina A&T will reset after that mistake. First down for them at their own 35-yard line, already down 7-0 after that fumble by Hicks, which, by the way, was the first of the season for him. Hicks again on the carry. He's one of the United States Postal Service backs and receivers for A&T, along with Smith, Jones, Ship, and Bryson.
Jones averaging over 14 yards a catch. Bryson is a legitimate NFL prospect.
Offensive line, Hammett, Long, Sanders, Mitchell, and McGee.
And when you talk about NFL prospects, number 78 has caught the eye of a mini scout.
On second down, Phillips goes to the air and underthrows his receiver. Intended for Steve Ship. United States Postal Service defensive line for Florida A&M, Green, Morris, Scott, and Coleman.
Green and company must do the job of containing Hicks at the point of attack.
Backers are Bynum, Sanders, and Copeland.
Bynum, an all-conference performer.
And the men, the last line of defense, secondary, Doe, Hart, Moore, and Brown.
Brown, of course, the leading tackler, but Doe had 2 INTs the last time we saw Florida A&M at Howard.
Third down for Damian Phillips and A&T at the 37-yard line. 3 to go for a first. Phillips looking to the air again. Underthrows his receiver again. That may have been tipped.
Well, it was. And you look at Florida A&M with their 8 in the box, like Coach Bill Hayes expected them to come with. You're going to see too much pressure. And A&T cannot fill the holes, so there's not a lane for him to pass. And it looked like, I couldn't see who the number was on the person getting pressure. See, too many holes. And maybe that was Copeland who got his hand up to check that, Carlos Moore with the deflection.
Yannick Matthews punt to Levy Brown, who was bottled up and is wrestled out of bounds. So Florida A&M's defensive unit holds twice the opening 2 series, putting their offensive unit back on the field. The Rattlers lead at 7-0 here in Greensboro. Greensboro, North Carolina. The North Carolina A&T Aggies are trailing 7-0 to Florida A&M. A mistake cost them the first touchdown, an uncharacteristic fumble by Maurice Hicks, but defensively, the A&M Rattlers just stopped the Aggies just now, allowing Quinn Gray to bring the offensive unit back onto the field. Sam Smith, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin here with you. This time, it's Lordius around the right side. And the last time we saw him a couple of weeks ago, Mark, he was really impressive. As we look at the defensive line that's going to have to stop him, Blackstock, Butler, Neal, and Blow.
Ironically, Butler just got plastered on that last play.
The backers for A&T, McLean, Winder, Wilson, and Evans.
Yeah, Winder and Evans are 2 really active linebackers.
2nd and 5 for Gray out of the shotgun on his own 41-yard line, already leading 7-0. He had the touchdown run, very short. Lordius straight ahead. United States Postal Service secondary for North Carolina A&T, Pittman, Horton, and Freeman.
Preseason, Montrell Pittman, 2nd team all-conference, and he's got a whole lot of talent.
Lordius picked up a first down on that run. Ball now just short of the 45 for Florida A&M. Gray has yet to attempt to pass. And here he goes. This one complete to DeMar Bowe, who's out of bounds. With that, Gray ties Tony Ezell with 879 career passes. That is #1 at Florida A&M. The next one breaks the record.
Props to Quinn Gray. Nothing fancy, a little quick out, and early on it appears that Florida A&M, known for their aggressive, wide-open, vertical passing attack, is content to play disciplined, conservative football.
Billy Joe described his quarterback as a classic drop-back passer, days of old. Gray under pressure, gets it away. Junius, the receiver.
This is a three-step drop and a slant. And the protection up front is solid. See, 1, 2, 3, swing it right there into the open area. And were it not for an arm-saving tackle by Deloach, touchdown.
This time it's Lordius on the ground and taking a defender with him.
Well, I'll tell you something. Bill Hayes' defense had problems making adjustments last week to the no huddle and the 5 wides. Well, this is just a trap action right here. And watch, he'll go inside, dance back to the outside. A&T will seal to the inside. Look at the vision as he bounces, goes into the Aggie secondary. Florida A&M moving at will.
The fumble in the backfield. But Lordius recovers it. Bill Hayes said to us, what compounds this entire thing is that they not only run a no huddle, but now this running game.
And when you've got a guy like Gray who hasn't been running out of the option that much, it's normally tough to defend. Florida A&M going to the entire well here early in the first half, trying to really seal control of this game.
Loss of 7 on the play, 2nd and 17 for Florida A&M at the 27-yard line of A&T. Rattlers lead at 7-0, and Quinn Gray saw something that he was uncomfortable with. He wants to go and talk about it.
Well, when you've got,
but he has a lead.
Yeah, when you've got an opportunity to deliver a big knockout blow, let's talk about it. Exchange gifts, and A&T gave Florida A&M a gift to open up this drive. There was the reverse action, little problem there, recovery by Florida A&M, and they're down with a goal-to-goal situation, and then Quinn Gray toughs his way into the end zone for a FAMU touchdown, and they lead by 1 touchdown, looking for another one.
Out of the timeout, Gray looking to the air, has a receiver across the middle.
Well, A&T's going to have to blitz now, because Quinn Gray sitting in the pocket right now with enough time to survey, partake of some of this tailgate cuisine, and just wait for his receiver to come across the middle and sit into the open area. He's going to deliver this strike right here. Allen, nice pass, good catch, and a new record.
That makes Quinn Gray #1 all-time in pass attempts at Florida A&M. Out of the shotgun, looking to the air again. Has another receiver, but cannot hold on to it, is DeMar Bowe.
Well, there was a little bit more pressure that time on Quinn Gray, and his receiver might have had his field of view impeded, but you got to hold on to that pass. You know, when we talked to Billy Joe in D.C. before the Howard game, he said that one of the problems with that team, missed assignments, turnovers, penalties, drop passes. Over the last couple of weeks, they haven't dropped too many passes. Not a good omen for the FAMU O.
Juan Vasquez on for the field goal, has made just 1 of 4 so far this season, the longest being 29 yards. He is now 1 of 5. That one does not find the upright. So North Carolina A&T dodges that bullet as Vasquez misses from 32 yards out.
Yeah, you're talking about having an opportunity to really seize control and put the pressure on a team that lost a disappointing game with a touchdown, and they missed the field goal. And, you know, Billy Joe's got to go back to the drawing board and feel a lot better than he did at this point in the game last year in Tallahassee, though.
For those of you not familiar with it, this is not out of the ordinary. Billy Joe, the head coach of Florida A&M, coaches from upstairs. He says he sees the field better. Maurice Hicks on the call for A&T. Mark, what has to happen right now for A&T, because they certainly haven't been able to figure out Florida and A&M's defense?
What you just saw, it becomes a mano-a-mano battle of wills, in my opinion, between the Aggie offensive front, an offensive front that almost averages 300 pounds. This offensive line is bigger than many NFL offensive fronts, and they have to control a quick but undersized front 7 at FAMU.
2nd down. Hicks again, and this time he is stopped in his tracks very hard by John Edwards.
Edwards shot the gap and was in the hole faster than Hicks. He does a beautiful job playing off his block. Now watch, you're going to see him at the top of your screen just fill the hole and then watch him just attack the ball carrier. It's a good job right there.
Edwards, 6 feet, 285-pound freshman from Butler, Alabama. We'll take a breather after that play.
Now he earned it. Hit somebody like that, you probably knock yourself out.
Well, his play sets up 3rd and 6 for North Carolina A&T. Damian Phillips and company. Hicks now moves into a slot position, no setbacks. Phillips under pressure, gets it away.
He was looking for his big tight end, Bryson, the NFL prospect, the All-MEAC candidate, and he couldn't get there. And Phillips just doesn't look comfortable in the pocket, happy feet just a little bit. You know, good coverage that time, though. Give credit where credit is due. Cedric Copeland from Miami taking a page out of the Canes book with that blanket coverage, and the Aggies have to punt.
For the second time today, we will see Yannick Matthews back to punt. Levy Brown tracking this one down at the 30-yard line. Will return it. Fumbles the ball, or was he down? Referees indicate the ball was down, so he gets just across the 35-yard line. That's where Florida A&M will take over.
Boy, Dwayne Hammock gets his clock clean, which allows Brown to spring it just around the corner before he loses it after hitting the turf. I tell you, here comes, watch this right here. Look at that block. Boy, that's good stuff right there. Got around the corner, squared the shoulders, and put a big-time stick on.
7-yard return by Brown.
That was your proverbial slobber knocker right there.
Not familiar with those.
Yeah, never heard of it? It's like you were playing cricket when we were playing football back in the day.
1st and 10 for Florida A&M, leading 7-0. They keep it on the ground, and it goes nowhere as A&T's defense responds.
Well, when they make adjustments during the next offensive series for A&T, Billy Joe's going to say, Kelsey, whatever you do, do not leap into the sea of blue, because that's your fate. I mean, they just clogged that middle up, and there was no hole. And A&T's run defense, as it has been seemingly throughout the 90s, tops in the MEAC.
2nd and 10 for A&M. Lordius, nothing doing. Nothing at all.
Well, the Aggies right now, Dwayne, are becoming a little bit more aggressive. It's a nice little run blitz, a high snap. But look, by the time the ball is snapped, you've got 5 guys in the offensive backfield of FAMU. Trouble is, they're all wearing blue shirts.
They call this the Blue Death defense. McCoy, number 25, leading the way. 3rd and 12 for A&M. And it's on 35-yard line. Quinn Gray out of the shotgun, surveys the field. His team up 7-0.
Dangerous situation for the Rattler.
Gray looking to the air, has a receiver. Isaac Brown.
Well, that's a good job of field generalship all the way around by a savvy veteran quarterback and a savvy veteran receiver. See, he's going to sit in the pocket and just survey. The receiver runs a little square in right in front of the cornerback. Good protection up front. He finds the open area, and the thing that makes the play, it was a route that had just enough for the first down.
Gray having to elude pressure, but does not get away. He goes down.
And with a little bit of offensive success, you can go no huddle and catch the aggressiveness of the Aggies with little stunts, misdirections, and of course delay action plays right here. That time the Aggies didn't buy the little play action, and Gray has to effectively eat it.
Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12. Lordius changes directions, picks up maybe 6.
And you see, Dwayne, you come back after the pass attempt with a delay action. That's a draw play.
Lordius, 5'9", 209-pound senior, leading rusher for the team, 5 touchdowns.
And you see, once again, FAMU with the tempo, faster pace, not allowing A&T to make the personnel adjustments that they need to combat the Gulf Post offense.
3rd and 9 for Quinn Gray and Florida A&M, our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week in Greensboro, North Carolina. Rattlers come in ranked 16th in the nation. Gray out of the shotgun, looking to the air. Just overthrows Marco Junius.
Well, early on, Florida A&M's receivers are doing a great job running disciplined routes. They're taking what the defense is giving them in that two-deep look. And see, watch, he's going to sit in the middle of that two-deep zone. He's got an opportunity, if that ball is lower, to make the catch. See, he sits right in the middle of two Aggie defenders, help underneath and over the top. But a high pass, FAMU has the punt.
That means Curtis Deloach will see him return for the first time. That average is 3rd in the nation. Kicking away is T.J. Smith. Punter for Florida A&M, a high snap, gets it away. And Deloach will let it roll. North Carolina A&T will take over at the 11-yard line.
Well, now I think the big nasties up front, wearing blue and gold, have to seize control of this game. They need a couple of first downs. A, to give the defense a breather, but B, for some confidence. You know, Florida A&M's aggressiveness, 8 in the box, and they're coming from the outside with their pressure, and they're doing a good job of stifling A&T's offensive attack to this point.
Saw Coach Bill Hayes in his 13th year, 97 and 53. He is A&T's all-time winningest coach. First down and 10 for his Aggies. The pitch to Hicks. Fine job of tackling and pursuit by Carlos Moore.
Yeah, but this play is made because of the discipline on the edges by the FAMU defense. On this sweep, effectively a student body, they're able to turn it back in. I think it was John Edwards, a freshman from Butler, Alabama, seeing a lot more playing time here recently, turns that play back inside. And you got to wonder about Hicks. Maybe that hip pointer is bothering him a little bit.
This time Phillips rolling right on play action, nowhere to go. He's under pressure, throws it out of the end zone and throws it away.
Boy, good job of field generalship that time again by Phillips. You know, he does a good job selling and then rolling to the outside. Watch the pressure coming right here. You see, little play action fakes. Really, A&T does a good job of selling it, but then the quarterback gets outside and he's running for dear life. And that's a good pass on the fly. And in the general vicinity of Bryson.
You alluded to the hip pointer that Maurice Hicks has. Coach Hayes told us yesterday he's been bothered by it. Did not practice much at all this week. As a matter of fact, we may very well see Adrian Parks, number 28, come in for Hicks more often than usual, depending upon how Hicks is feeling. 3rd and 11 for A&T, trailing 7-0, and it's homecoming. Phillips on his own draw. Not quite enough for a first down.
Well, you know, Dwayne, you look at these first 3 drives, it's like A&T's offense sort of playing into the strengths of the Florida A&M defense. I mean, this should be a blood and guts battle. And this is just a quarterback draw. Levy Brown, spying on anybody carrying the pigskin, is going to zero in and take Phillips to the turf. He got his bell rung. He's going to talk to his offensive coordinator over there, Coach Garber. They're going to try to evaluate it, make some changes.
Matthews to kick off to Brown. And it's out of bounds at the 31-yard line of Florida A&M. So North Carolina A&T so far unable to get any kind of offensive fluidity going.
No rhythm whatsoever, and the difficulty is no matter what defense you're going against, if they have you in 3rd and long situations, it sort of dictates what you have to do from an offensive standpoint. They can make their adjustments. A&T's got to do a better job right now on 1st and 2nd down. And if I'm Quinn Gray, I think right now I love the offensive game plan. Just stay within myself, not try to force anything. If it's not there, eat it. If it is there, make it happen.
That has been the most dramatic difference in A&M is the balance in the offense. More running implemented by Billy Joe.
He dropped the football.
Fumble on the play by Gray, and it's recovered by North Carolina A&T. Now the Aggies get a break.
Well, these are the things that have really hurt Florida A&M against North Carolina A&T for like the last 3 years. It's just a bad snap. Well, check that, just a mishandled snap, and I think Utley for A&T is the one who makes the recovery. See, that's just, you know, Logan and Quinn Gray have done that about 1,000 times. That's just a lack of concentration. And now A&T can make them pay.
Can A&T capitalize as A&M did on the fumble? Phillips on first down, gives it to Hicks right up the middle. Is stopped, or slowed down rather, by Nakia Bynum.
Boy, watch this ball-seeking missile wearing number 52 just come into the center of the screen and clock. Boy, watch. Bynum just came through at the last minute and put a big-time stick on Hicks. He literally came out of nowhere.
Second down at the 27-yard line of A&M. Hicks takes the pitch around the right side, has room. First down, and he's out of bounds.
Well, the footwork and the vision of Hicks, some good downfield blocking, and a great seal to the inside by the O-line lead to this first down being picked up. It's a sweep. A&T's O-lineman get out front, seal FAMU to the inside. He does a good job bouncing in, dancing out, and picking up the first down.
Hicks, 6 feet, 200-pound senior from Emporia, Virginia, is averaging 182 yards per game, which, interestingly enough, is how much Florida A&M's defense is averaging giving up.
This kid's also averaging 8 yards a touch.
Hicks again, this time over the left, hurdles over a defender, and it's down to the 10.
That's a special back right there. Carlton Moore, well, you'll forgive me if he looks like a hurdle in the 110 meters at the Olympics right there, because Hicks going into his best Roger Kingdom or Jack Pierce impersonation. That's right, Jack Pierce, Morgan guy, Olympian. Good job out of him.
She's happy right now as her Aggies are on the move. Made a mistake early, but Maurice Hicks appears intent on atoning for that fumble, which led to the 7 points by A&M. Now he and the Aggies have an opportunity to draw even. First, second down. Hicks over the right side, powering his way for a bit more. He's brought down by Stephen Brown.
Boy, Hicks knows how to hit that hole with ferocity. And that time, Florida A&M showing the major difference, at least early on, than in last year's contest, Dwayne. They are finishing the tackles. Last year, there was a series of missed tackles which led to big plays in Tallahassee that went against the Snakes. Right now, they're doing a good job of locking up and bringing down.
3rd and 5 from the 10. Phillips rolling right. Well, that pass was to Talib Smith, but it just wasn't quite on the mark.
Well, this is one where he's got to be a little bit too pumped up. Little play action there. He had his receiver wide open in the flat. All he had to do was just toss it up in there, let him go get it. And it's a first down, if not a touchdown. But the Aggies will have to try for the 3.
That brings on Pat Simcox. That drive, just 4 running plays and just 1 passing play. Simcox longest, 36 yards.
Unofficially, no completed passes yet.
And the 28-yarder is good, so North Carolina A&T does take advantage of the miscue by Quinn Gray by going up with 3 points, not the 7 they had hoped for, but they are on the board, Mark.
Well, you're at home, and you got to get something out of this drive when a team like Florida A&M gives you a gift, and you hope that that emotion will carry you across as the game wears on. Bottom line is they were a completed pass away from perhaps a touchdown. So now you get the feeling that the momentum, which was clearly on the side of Florida A&M in the early stages of the first quarter, sort of beginning to make its way back to the Aggie sideline. This is just a tremendous day for football. I mean, you think black college football, you think Saturday afternoons in the fall, you think high-stepping, party, good times, and you think homecoming, and we got all that here today. If you don't like this, then I got to stick some dynamite in your shorts or something.
Now, Bill Hayes told us yesterday when we talked to him, this is not my idea of a good time for homecoming. Homecoming, I'm accustomed to seeing friends, shaking hands, just spending a lot of time with good people I haven't seen in a long time. Instead, I'm worried sick about Florida A&M.
Yeah, but he's confident. There was a quiet, there was a confidence in his concern while we conversed with him yesterday.
Simcox set to kick off. And it sails out of bounds. Dwayne Ballin, Mark Gray, Sam Smith in Greensboro, North Carolina. Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week here at Aggie Stadium.
Free
Homecoming.
kick infraction. 1st and 10 on the 35.
So A&M will take over at the 35-yard line after the infraction on the kickoff. There is Billy Joe of Florida A&M.
Let's give him his little early happy birthday. Tomorrow is his birthday, and wouldn't tell us how old he's going to be.
Our National Car Rental scoring drive, 5 plays, 19 yards, and the 27-yard field goal by Sim Cox.
We know he's 27 years old again. We just don't know how long he's been 27.
Well, his quarterback, Quinn Gray, has the offense on the field. First down, under pressure, gets away, gets the ball off, has Allen downfield, who makes a grab while fending off the defender.
Tremendous play all the way around by Gray and his pocket presence and savvy to just give his receiver an opportunity to get open, and this is just a beautiful touch pass. The A&T with pressure from either side, and Gray can feel it. See, guys are at his feet, just steps up in the pocket, and there's a little touch pass. See, nifty little flick of the wrist right here, lofts it out, and a nice little push off there by Allen, and he hauls it in.
35 yards on the play for a first down. This time they're on the ground. Travis Williams.
Well, he talked the talk.
The young man that made it known publicly that he is very unhappy about playing A&T as his homecoming opponent.
See, me, I think it'd be an honor to play before all the crowd. Big show.
15 seconds left in the opening quarter. Florida A&M leads 7-3 over A&T on the drive again. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line, from the 25. Gray goes down.
What a better way to end the quarter than with a straight blitz and a sack to sort of stem the tide, but the Rattlers are still on the move.
Marvin Blackstock does the job. So A&T, which yielded an early 7 points, has stiffened on defense and is trying to fight back Florida A&M, which is driving and looking for more. We're back at Greensboro, North Carolina. Florida A&M on the drive, beginning the second quarter, leading 7-3 over North Carolina A&T. 3rd and 17 from the 37-yard line for the Rattlers. Quinn Gray out of the shotgun. Under pressure, goes down on the blitz.
Wow, that was a proverbial jailbreak. And they escaped and found the man wearing orange and green. Boy, watch this jailbreak. Blown coverages all up in the center of the line. Pick your poison. You had 3 guys that were effectively unabated. They just beat the snap count, and they converge on Quinn Gray.
Montrell Pittman, the first one to get to him, number 24.
I mean, and this is what A&T likes to do. They like to try and get physical early on with Gray. So we'll think about it later on in the contest.
18-yard loss on the play. Time to kick it back, goes into the end zone. A&T will take the ball out at the 20-yard line.
Well, you know, I talked earlier, Dwayne, about the Aggies having to become a little bit more aggressive. You know, if you're going to let Quinn Gray sit in the pocket and pick you apart, he'll sit in the pocket and pick you apart. Well, the Aggies just said, okay, you may pick us apart, but you're going to pay for it. They're doing a good job playing a whole lot more aggressive. And you notice the blitzes are coming from different areas.
Offensive holding, penalty decline. 1st down on the 20.
And the point I was making on a very lovely afternoon in Greensboro, I might add, the Aggies did a good job defensively of disguising their blitzes and coming with 2 or 3 different blitzes in the first quarter. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, did Damian Phillips complete a pass in the first quarter? He went 0 for the quarter, and they're not going to beat FAMU with that today.
Phillips over center, the give to the All-American Hicks, who is grabbed by Cedric Copeland and just dropped.
And we were talking about the aggressiveness of the Aggie front seven, front eight. Look at the aggressiveness right here, Florida A&M. You know, we expected 7 or 8 guys in the box, and this is Copeland. And see, to me, Dwayne, when you run to the outside, you play to the strengths of Florida A&M's defense, which is speed and quickness. They go sideline to sideline, arguably better than any team in the conference from a linebacker standpoint. You got to go between the tackles against them. That's why Tennessee State had so much success.
2nd and 15, Hicks again, and he gets very little of that back as he's met there by Alex Fortson. Levy Brown.
Yeah, well, you know, sooner or later, you know, Mr. Brown was going to make his presence felt. This is a guy that, you know, is ubiquitous, to say the least. I mean, he's just tremendous, and the thing that you are so impressed about him is the character of the young man. This is a guy who lost both parents, who had to effectively become the man of the house at 10 years old, had a little bit of problems once he got to Florida A&M. Now he's a standout performer for their defense.
3rd and 12, pickup of 3 on the play. Phillips rolling to his left, under pressure, and is corralled out of bounds by Nakia Bynum.
Well, you know something? A&T sending one receiver into the pattern really isn't doing a whole lot to help Phillips out. Now, FAMU's linebackers don't buy the play action. He gets around the corner. He's got one receiver downfield. There are 4 defensive backs, and this is normally what happens. An all-conference receiver can play cowboy and ride you out.
Bynum just tossed him like a towel on that one. Yannick Matthews back at his own 2-yard line to punt away to Brown. And that will take a bounce in favor of the Florida A&M Rattlers. They will have very favorable field position. They lead 7-3 against North Carolina A&T. Back after here at Aggie Stadium in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they've been on their way here since 8 this morning.
Actually, it started at 8 last night, to be quite honest with you, Dwayne. I mean, there's a whole lot of partying going on right now. And that's just the 30,000 that were able to make it up after last night. Probably another 20,000 couldn't get up this morning.
Florida A&M with the ball at the 38-yard line of A&T, leading 7-3. Quinn Gray at quarterback for the Rattlers. The delay to Lordius, who is stacked up quickly. James Francis leading the way.
Aggie defense, boy, in Florida A&M, it's the aggressiveness of the Aggie defense against that Florida A&M, pardon me, conservative approach offensively.
See Lordius check out for a moment. Gray now in the backfield by himself out of the shotgun. 2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line. High snap, he does handle it. Has Lutu downfield, but he overthrew it.
He had him in the seam, but he threw it into almost like quadruple coverage. That time A&T's defensive backs, in particular, I believe that's Asa Evans, number 27, who doesn't buy the look away outside. See, he tried to look outside and come back to the inside. Evans doesn't buy it, and the pass is really almost picked off.
You know, Mark, this defense of A&T surrendered over 600 yards of total offense last week in that loss to Morgan State. One would think there is a lot for them to prove here.
Oh, I'm certainly, but you got to understand, Dwayne, coming into that contest, they had given up 7 points for the season. Granted, it was against North Carolina Central and Norfolk State. And we'll talk a little bit more about that after this play.
2nd and 20 for the Rattlers. Ball at the 48. 3 receivers. Ball is snapped over Gray's head. He tracks it down, and he fumbles. A&T has the ball.
For a second there, I thought we were going to see Howard revisited. Remember they had a bad snap that wallowed on the turf, and Gray was able to turn it into something big? Not today. It's a high snap We saw that 2 weeks ago in the nation's capital. Tim Blow comes in there, puts the first lick on him, and then barreling down in there for the recovery. Check that. That was Blow in there on the recovery. It's a high snap. Let's see who reaches him first. Gray, obviously thinking back to a couple of weeks ago where he was able to turn that. Is that Winder in there? Anyway, Blow with the big recovery, and Florida A&M shoots themselves in the foot once again. And we've got an unsportsmanlike penalty call, I think.
That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Yes, we do. An Aggie apparently took his helmet off in the midst of that celebration.
Nonetheless, North Carolina A&T gets the ball back on a fumble. Very high snap to Quinn Gray.
Just as we talk about them taking a conservative approach, going risk-free, high-risk play, devastating turn of events.
Here are the Aggies, 1st and 10 at the 42 of Florida A&M, trailing 7-3. Phillips to the air, has Ship inside the 35-yard line.
Well, I think that was a pass more designed to give Phillips some confidence. Nothing fancy about that. Ship goes out about 4 yards, squares it back inside. Phillips delivers a strike. It was low, but a nice cradling catch that time by Ship. And Phillips has got to make a play outside the pocket sometime here soon. I think if he can make one play, it'll open the stuff between the tackles for Hicks.
Pickup of 6 sets up 2nd and 4 at the 36. Phillips under pressure, gets away from one defender, gets the ball off, intercepted, nearly, by Levy Brown.
He was there. He had it in his hands.
Let's check in with Sam Smith.
Dwayne and Mark, Damian Phillips had a rough time last week against Morgan State. He threw 3 interceptions. More importantly, in the 4th quarter, when they needed him to step up, Phillips couldn't come through with the big play. If A&T is going to win this game over Florida A&M this afternoon, Phillips has got to find a way to make plays to take pressure off running back Maurice Hicks. Back to you guys upstairs.
You hit the nail on the head, Sam. That's the point I'm talking about. Looked like for a second there, he had a chance to make a play outside the pocket and couldn't complete it. It comes down, I think the burden of proof clearly on number 12 at this point.
3rd and 4, Jones in motion. Ball at the 36. Drops it off to Hicks coming out of the backfield. Has a first down. Room to run. Knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
Well, those short passes to backs as talented as Hicks are just as effective as long vertical passes downfield. And this is effectively that sweep. The difference, he's already out there when he receives the ball. That's Quazine Mitchell down there leading the blocks. And then right there, there's unadulterated speed. And had it not been for the angle of Troy Hart, Hicks is going to take it to the house. Look at his feet. Nice cut, dance back to the inside, and Hart is able to track him down.
Well, the crowd is on its feet. It's Aggies, an opportunity to go ahead and 1st and goal from the 4. Hicks, touchdown, A&T leads.
Well, that's the first time this crowd has had something to dance about. Watch, little off tackle. Great seal to the outside. Watch that hole, and as soon as it opens up, he just runs through the tackles of Bynum and into the end zone. But you can't give enough credit to that O-line up front on those 2 plays, getting out in front of Hicks as he took the pass to set up the touchdown, and he took it to the house with the run.
That brings on the transfer from East Carolina, Pat Simcox, for the extra point. It's good. North Carolina A&T, which trailed 7-0 in the 1st quarter, takes a 10-7 lead with 10:45 to go here at Aggie Stadium in Greensboro, and it's the record setter, Maurice Hicks, doing it on the ground, taking the Aggies into the lead. T fans are much happier at the moment here in Greensboro, North Carolina, as their Aggies have just gone ahead of Florida A&M 10-7, courtesy of Maurice Hicks' touchdown run. Now Pat Simcox kicks it off to the Rattlers. It will be fielded by E.J. Collier, who breaks through and has running room, gets out to the 43-yard line.
You know something? They're doing a good job, Florida A&M, of taking advantage of the aggressiveness of A&T. They're pumped, and watch. Their lanes break down. And so he's able to get to the center of the field. There's an alley opening, and were it not for the game-saving tackle, Collier is able to take it to the house.
Our National Car Rental scoring drive, 4 plays, 42 yards, 1 minute elapsed. The Hicks 4-yard run.
But give him credit for the long pass, which set it up.
So now Quinn Gray and company facing a deficit for the first time in this game. On 1st and 10, has a receiver out of the backfield. Is Isaac Brown.
Let's take a look at that scoring drive by the Aggies. It started with a little swing pass right here from Phillips to Hicks, and he just makes a nice move and goes down to the 4-yard line, comes back on the next play, a little bit of a sweep, gets a block to the inside, runs through the tackle of Bynum, and he takes it to the house, and the Aggies grab a lead.
On 2nd and 5, Gray to the tight end Lutu for a first down at the 43-yard line. Bryce McLean on the tackle. Lutu, San Diego, 6'2", 240-pound junior.
And he just releases into the area between the hash marks down the center of the field. Nobody picks him up. Everybody's picking up defensively to the outside. It opens the wide open area in the center. Nice read by Gray.
15-yard pickup led to 1st and 10. Looking for Allen, overthrows him.
Billy Joe doing a nice job calling plays. Remember, he's the offensive coordinator, and he and Gray have executed this game plan to perfection. See, 3 jabs, a little short underneath stuff to Isaac Brown, and then they go for the home run just over the outstretched arms of Charles Allen.
Joe, 6 straight winning seasons, well on his way to a 7th, 8th year, 67 and 24. 2nd and 10 for his Rattlers at the 38-yard line of A&T, trailing 10-7. Allen had it in his hands and didn't hold on. He can't believe it himself.
You know something? This is a terrific play call. I don't know whether Gray checked at the line of scrimmage or not, but the blitz is going to come. It's all out. He reads a hot read, and Allen sits right in the center of your field. See, watch, 88's going to come from your left and sit there. He's wide open. He takes it to the house. All he has to do is catch it.
Gray would like to have that one back. 3rd and 10 from the 38. Gray out of the shotgun. Here come the Aggies again. He gets it off. Right back to Allen. Reception no good.
That pass is high. That's because the Aggies are getting tremendous pressure right now from the outside. And Quinn Gray doing a good job feeling the pressure and reading it twice. 2 very catchable passes by the normally sure-handed Charles Allen. I mean, those are just passes that Allen normally doesn't drop.
Allen is regarded as one of their key possession down receivers. When you absolutely have to have it, he may not beat you long, but he'll get the ball for you.
From that Ricky Prohl or Fred Bolitnikoff school.
Smith's punt to DeLoach will sail into the end zone. A&T will have the ball at the 20-yard line. Defensive unit bends but does not break. Aggies still lead it 10-7. There is much to cheer about for Aggie fans. And MEAC Football 2001 is brought to you by Bank of America, the United States Postal Service, Xerox, Coca-Cola, the Marines, and by Kroger.
How's he look?
Florida A&M, North Carolina A&T, our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week. The Aggies lead 13-7. Our Xerox halftime stats show you how the Aggies did it.
Well, part of it was the distractions designed to keep the opposition looking in other directions.
One thing A&T didn't do that surprised us was Maurice Hicks didn't have a dominant game on the ground, as you see the rushing numbers.
That's just an incredible disparity. Minus 51 yards rushing for Florida A&M, and of course 37 yards for the Aggies. They've done a good job, have the Rattlers, of keeping the Maurice Hicks in check, but look at that. I mean, passing yards 139 to 32. I mean, the Aggies have done nothing basically offensively in this contest.
But the key line, turnovers, 3-1. That's the difference.
Yeah, but you would figure, Dwayne, that if you turn the ball over like that, you would still be able to be, you know, take advantage of it for a couple of touchdowns. You'd be down 2 or 3 scores. Florida A&M is a broken tackle or a big play away from having the lead in this contest. And Gray has been an efficient 13 of 24 for 139 and a TD rushing. He got them in position for the field goal. Vasquez couldn't capitalize, and that happened twice. You know, 2 missed field goals away are we from being tied as well.
And the question is, does Gray come back out in the second half? And if he does, how effective will he be?
It'll be interesting to watch that. You know, let's go downfield and check on that.
Sam Smith.
Hi, Dwayne and Mark. We talked to head coach Billy Joe just before he went upstairs. This is what he said. Quinn Gray got his bell rung. They don't know if he's going to come out and start the second half. They're still trying to make a determination. I think it's Coach Joe just being more coy than anything else. I would think that unless Quinn Gray is just completely out of it, he's going to come out and play. He did tell Coach Joe that he could answer the bell, could go out and play. I think the coaches are just being coy, not wanting A&T to know what they're going to do.
Quinn Gray will play unless he's Eric Lindros a couple of years ago, Dwayne. I mean, this guy's going to play. Billy Joe is a master of coach speak. That guy's all right.
Yeah, he looks like he's ready to go. I think Sam nailed it on the head. Coach speak, and he was just, you know, not trying not to give anything away just yet. But you can't imagine that Gray won't be out on that field when they get back in their offensive set.
And if you've ever been knocked out on a football field, everything just goes white. 20 minutes. 15 minutes, you know, 30 seconds, what have you. It just goes white. You got to collect yourself.
Pat Simcox set to kick away as Florida A&M will receive the second half kick, trailing 7-13. A&T trailed 7-0 at the beginning of the ball game after that fumble by Maurice Hicks, but came back, took advantage of some turnovers by A&M, and has that lead at the moment.
And if you ask me, A&T has to play a desperate half of football, fighting for their championship lives.
E.J. Collier up the middle, breaks out to the outside where he is ridden down by Asa Evans.
There's a name on defense we haven't called a lot of today, Asa Evans, but again, he's one of the more talented special teams performers in the entire league.
Evans, 6'1", 215-pound senior from Panama. Gray comes out to begin the second half. There he is. Bell rung at the end of the first half. But his Rattlers trail. And Billy Joe says this is the man that will get us wherever we're going. So we're going to stay with him. In the shotgun. 1st and 10 from the 26. Comes out firing. Nice defensive play by Jason Horton.
Horton in there on the stop. That's just a good read by him. And Brown, I believe, is the intended receiver right here. And he doesn't do a good job. Let's check that. That's Marco Junius. He doesn't do a good job of selling the pass route.
Gray to Junius again. Basically the same play. This time, Junius, the ball sails out of his hands.
And just like in the first half, it took the receivers a while to get into rhythm. But by the end of the half, they were catching everything.
That sets up 3rd and 10 from the 26. Well, A&M on the opening drive of the second half from Greensboro. North Carolina A&T leads 13-7. Gray throws into traffic. And Allen didn't hang on to it. One thing Gray is not afraid of is throwing it into opposing jerseys.
Well, you know, you admire his character and his heart for doing that, but it's not very wise. I mean, threw it into where you had there was one white shirt and 3 blue shirts.
T.J. Smith gets the punt off to Deloach, who will let this one bounce. And the Rattlers down it at the 15-yard line, which is where North Carolina A&T will take over, as Damian Phillips will bring the Aggies out onto the field. Phillips with not a spectacular day, but yet getting the job done.
Yeah, but, I mean, you know, I don't know what it takes for there to be a relief QB in Greensboro, but that was anything but a textbook half of quarterbacking by Phillips. Phillips had ample protection. He's just not delivering the ball well at all. Passes are low. They're ahead of their receivers, and, you know, he's got to find some touch soon.
So that 59-yard punt sets up first down and 10, and it's Hicks around the right side, breaks a couple of tackles and gets out of bounds at the 30-yard line with a first down. Nice piece of running, changing direction, body control.
That's a Sunday play. That's a play you'll see on Sunday sometime real soon. This is a sweep. It's going to come right at you. He's going to be strung to the outside, fake inside, dance it, and then right here, he breaks a tackle, he slides back to the outside, and then, you know, there are two A&M receivers, defenders that are going to put licks on him to drive him out of bounds, but they're going to go backwards. See? Copeland and somebody else bounced off Hicks. He punishes people for coming up to try and tackle him.
Pick up a 14 on the play. This time,
now you see, I think A&T's offensive play calling is inhibited by the ineffectiveness of their passing attack. You know, a play like that, you should be able to release a Marcus Bryson into the flat, especially after you had some running success. But I'm not quite sure the Aggie coaching staff can have confidence in Phillips, though he lines up in a shotgun here. 2nd and 11 for Phillips at the 28-yard line. He and the Aggies lead 13-7.
quick drop, has a receiver. Lots of room for Booker T. Washington.
And for a second there, I thought the T was going to stand for touchdown. I mean, this is a good play call, giving Phillips a few extra seconds out of the shotgun to survey and watch Washington come and find the open area in the center of the field. And if he's able to haul that in cleanly, he probably turns on the jets and takes it to the house.
34-yard pickup for the junior from Tampa. I thought he might be from Tuskegee, but he's from Tampa.
You're going to work that angle, aren't you? You're not going to tell me the T stands for Taliaferro, are you?
We're working on it. 1st and 10. Hicks over the right side. And Levy Brown just hangs on and rides him out of bounds.
And when they blast off tackle, especially to the left side, and you see the Aggies go behind Dwayne Hammett and Desmond Long, there are good things that are going to happen. They get a trap opening that opens up a hole, and he's able to bounce through the lane. And those are the kind of plays he ran for major yardage on last year as well.
6-yard pickup, 2nd and 4. Again, this time is Phillips to the air. He has Ship. So the closing quickly was Levy Brown.
Simple stuff. All jump started by the effectiveness of the run play. And each time they've run with some success, they've come back with a little short passing play and continue to move the chains. However, this is going to bring up a 3rd and short. See, again, if Phillips delivers a more effective pass, it's an easy first down. He's really helping the defense every time he releases the ball.
3rd and 1. Phillips keeps it, picks up the first down, has more still on his feet, will not go down until he is finally hauled down just inside the 15-yard line.
Well, you got to make a play when your passing game has gone awry. And for the balance of this afternoon, that has been the case with the Aggies. And Phillips' toughness leads to a first down. Option look, he's going to get to the outside, break a tackle of Copeland, and just run through the leg tackle attempt of Troy Hart. Check that, I believe that was Alex Fortson right there. And look at that, just a tremendous effort. He pays for it with Hart coming up in there on the stop.
15-yard run. This time it's Hicks. And Saquon Doe was determined that he wouldn't get into the end zone.
Well, you can see on that play right there, having seen Hicks, he's favoring the hip because normally he's going to turn it inside and deliver a shot. He looked, the hole was supposed to be through the center. He just danced outside twice. And Doe is in there to bring him down.
9-yard pickup for Hicks.
But he seems to get stronger as the game goes along. You'll look up in a minute, he'll be knocking on the 100-yard mark.
2nd and 2 from the 5. Phillips calls his own number and is stacked up.
Boy, the A&T offensive front right now isn't getting the surge at the point of attack that I'm sure they would have hoped for. And Florida A&M's quickness playing off the physical block. Well, they're just out-quicking A&T's O-line right now to get to the ball carrier.
You know, you've been talking about the passing. On this drive, there have been 6 pass plays to just 6 running plays to just 2 pass plays for A&T. First and goal from the 4. It's Hicks. Doesn't get to the end zone. Touchdown saving tackle by Nakia Bynum.
Got him around the feet, and they're smart. Last year they tried to tackle Hicks high, and he ran for over 200 yards. Today, they're going after his legs. And that time, not Terry Logan, Kareem Sanders gets a great block to center, opens up the hole. He just follows the big fella. So here we go.
Hicks, an academic All-America, 58 yards. Second and goal for the Aggies. And there is movement on the right side of the line for A&T.
That is a killer, a crusher. Quazine Mitchell, I believe, an all-MEAC offensive lineman, brings consternation to the face of Bill Hayes. Watch him, he's just going to be a bit overzealous here. Half count early. And look at the frustration in the foreground. Steve Shipp is like, you gotta be kidding me. Mitchell, of course, the reigning offensive lineman of the week. Of course, you could have given it to the whole line with their performance last week in Baltimore.
2nd and 7 for the Aggies. Hicks again, changes directions. Touchdown!
That was a marvelous cut. Watch, again, he changes direction, stops on a dime. They just do a good job of pushing Florida A&M's O-line to the right, and he goes right behind him, finds the lane, bounces off a tackle, takes it to the house. Smile a little bit, Bill. Enjoy it.
Well, he told us yesterday he was not having a good time this homecoming.
I believe he's enjoying it a little bit more right now, though.
He wants to make sure they discuss this and understand that, make sure everyone's on the same page here.
Yeah, he's trying to make it a 2-touchdown and 2 extra point game here. Let's take a look at another look at the touchdown right here, Dwayne. As A&T does a good job up front. I mean, little seal action. Everybody blocks down, and then Hicks cuts right back up on the inside, and just he's more physical than the linebackers coming up in run support. And when you create those one-on-one, or in this case one-on-two situations, he wins those battles.
Interesting thing about him is that he rarely, if ever, goes down upon initial contact. Phillips has done the job himself also on the ground. He has 15 yards, and Hicks 35 yards in this drive. And the pass plays, just 2 pass plays for 37 yards in that drive, Mark. Most of them running plays, 8.
Well, that's the strength of the Aggie attack. Now, Bill Hayes can talk all he wants about becoming more explosive, diversifying the offensive attack. They won championships around here running the football. And when they want to win, when it becomes winning time, it comes down to moving bodies, picking up yards.
Here comes the 2-point conversion. Hicks is in motion, lined up in a slot. Phillips. What a catch by Marcus Bryson. Nice one-handed grab in the back of the end zone.
Bryson is a bona fide NFL prospect, and you just saw a Sunday caliber catch. When this pass was released, I thought there is no way Bryson can get it. And watch.
6'4", 245 pounds of Bryson. After he saw his teammate do this, he said, well, I'll show you I can do this. Stretch the hand out and puts 2 more up.
Aggie scoring drive. We talked about Phillips needing to make something happen with his arm. He finds Booker T. Washington for a long play. Then he gets to the outside, running a little option action. He just won't go down, taking the shot. Then he gives, of course, to Mr. Reliable Hicks, who takes it to the house. And just like that, it's 21-7, A&T.
Back live, Florida A&M trying to return the kick. Our National Car Rental scoring drive, 10 plays, 85 yards, 519, and that Hicks 7-yard touchdown run, which if you think of degree of difficulty, probably was more like 15 or 20.
You obviously hung out at the swim meet yesterday between these two teams.
It was an all-sports weekend. Volleyball, Florida A&M beat A&T's volleyball team here. Football team trying to even the score. Gray to Isaac Brown.
Well, that's a pass that he released just a hair early because he could feel the pressure that the Aggies were getting that time. If he holds it just a half-second later and allows Brown to come full out of his break, they're probably able to complete that pass. Anytime Florida A&M gets a one-on-one situation, they got to like their chances.
2nd and 10 from the 34 for Florida A&M. Gray out of the shotgun. Now trailing 7-21. Has to get something going. Has a receiver on the far side. That's DeMar Bowe. Stopped by
made by number 84. DeMar Bowe. Stop made by number 23, Emmy Revenue. Third short.
Well, we've got a player that has yet to be identified. So we are efforting to identify him now.
3rd and 7 for the A&M Rattlers. Ball at the 38-yard line. Gray has Allen across the middle, still on his feet. More room to run. Big play for the Rattlers.
Well, Charles Allen, who dropped a couple of big passes in the first half, comes up with a huge play to give the Rattlers life. Great protection up front. It allows him to work his way across the field. Gray showing guts, stepping up in the pocket, and then he gets a block to spring him down right here after breaking a tackle. And if I believe Bowe right here, check that Junius is able to deliver one more block. Allen takes it to the house.
36-yard pickup, sets up first down, and a miscommunication on that play between Gray and the receiver.
Yeah, he was trying to find freshman Maurice Demps, seeing his first action of the afternoon, who had gotten open in the center of the field. And the pressure forced Gray once again to release that pass early. And you see the Rattlers staying in the no huddle, trying to keep the Aggies back on their heels just a bit.
2nd and 10 from the 26-yard line. Gray under pressure, throws it.
A one-handed catch. Are you kidding me?
Nice catch, nice defensive play, nice play all around.
Wow! The guts of Gray to stay in the pocket with the blitz bearing down on him, and a great catch. Look at this one-handed catch by DeMar Bowe, climbing the ladder in front of, I believe, Asa Evans, and making a beautiful catch.
So it's 3rd and 1 for the Rattlers. 7:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. Gray to the air, looking for Junius, and there is nothing going. He overthrew him.
Well, they're picking on number 21, Jason Horton, and for the balance of the afternoon, he's been more than up to the challenge. You know, considering the team gives up over 500 yards, you got to marvel at the way the defensive backs are playing right now. Solid protection, little post corner route. Bowe had a step, Junius with a step, but good coverage.
Interesting situation. Here it is, 4th down and 1, and Billy Joe is electing to go for it.
I love it.
Gray has a receiver, has the first down. Isaac Brown.
Isaac Brown.
Oh,
First down, Florida A&M.
he's getting pretty good up in here. Billy Joe's got to like that. Quinn Gray showing poise, presence in the pocket, delivering a strike to Brown for the first down.
That moves the ball to the 10-yard line for Florida A&M. Gray again looking to the air. And he cannot connect with the bow. Ravenel on
number 84.
the defense.
Now, when you're Florida A&M and you like to spread people out, that's really effective from 20 to 20. But things change inside the red zone as you get a look at Brown's numbers. 5 receptions for 41 yards today. Now the Aggie defensive backs, the Evanses and the Deloaches, can come up and play a little bit more aggressive. There's a great potential for a big play.
2nd and 10. This time they go on the ground to Lordius. A&T's defensive unit not fooled.
See, that time out of the spread, they tried to go back up underneath, trying to catch the Aggies in a blitz, but this time they stay home, and Marseille Winder is able to bring Lordius down. Lordius, who talked the talk in the press this week, has frankly not been able to walk the walk to this point.
A&T's defensive unit has an awful lot to do with that. 6:27 to go in the 3rd quarter of our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week. Quinn Gray, Florida A&M quarterback, throwing, has a man, touchdown! Lutu, the tight end.
And we got ourselves a ball game here, ladies and gentlemen. That's a clutch, big-time drive by Quinn Gray. Watch, little fake right here. They sucked A&T's pressure in, which allowed Lutu to get behind the linebackers, and he makes a great catch. Lutu, a 6'2", 240-pound junior out of San Diego, with a catch that would make even Russ Francis proud.
Oh, you're reaching back there. So on comes Vasquez for the extra point.
He missed it.
No good. So now you think about Hayes' decision to go for the 2 points.
It was huge. And here's a guy in Vasquez who's going to be struggling in the meal line after the game.
Well, don't mess with A&M's Lutu. 21-13, A&T leads. Oh, where 34,769 fans are watching North Carolina A&T and Florida A&M. Rattlers just scored a touchdown, but that young man, Vasquez, missed the extra point. It is 21-13. He and the Rattlers trail. A couple of young fans turning out for what's been a beautiful afternoon and a very interesting game. Kickoff of Lennon Nesbitt sails into the end zone. National Car Rental scoring drive.
And you look, Florida A&M goes to the air. They needed to get back into it, and Quinn Gray finds the range. Did play this one to Charles Allen, comes across the middle. And watch this clutch catch by DeMar Bowe, climbing the ladder to haul it in. And then on 4th down, Isaac Brown, clutch catch, keeps the drive alive. And this allows Quinn Gray, pump fake, Lutu in the back of the end zone, touchdown, and Florida A&M right back in it. And, you know, despite the troubles of Vasquez,
Damon Phillips on 1st down, looking to the air and looking long. Jones overthrew it.
Boy, Jamal Jones had a step on the man who was covering him, and he was led a bit too far. You can't ask for better protection and a better one-on-one opportunity. This is what the Aggies have been looking for all day deep downfield. They got it, and they weren't able to connect.
On that last A&M drive, you realize there were 9 pass plays to 2 rushing plays, 64 yards in passing.
Vintage Gulf Coast offense. Take what the D will give you.
Phillips on 2nd down. Hicks up the middle and is met hard.
My goodness. These are 2 guys who I'm not quite sure know each other real well. But watch, Maurice Hicks hit the hole, and he's going to be introduced to Levy Brown. Wow, what a way to make acquaintance. That's just a violent collision right there between 2 guys who want it real bad.
Brown's 5'11", 180 pounds, Hicks 6 feet, 200, so a lot of earth is moving.
And you know something? Give props to Brown. Normally, the defender moves backwards when they run into hits.
3rd and 6 from the 24. Phillips out of the shotgun. A&T leading 21-13. Looking for Jones again, and once again, he overthrows it.
Boy, Florida A&M living real good on this drive. Cedric James gets burned. A slant pattern. He breaks wide open into the center of the field. Great protection up front, and Phillips just can't find it. I mean, he can sit back there all day. See, he doesn't step into his passes. You notice that, Dwayne? He just sort of throws off his back foot, and to me, that's inhibiting his accuracy. I mean, he doesn't step into it with any confidence. It's like he puts it up hoping it's going to reach his receiver.
That brings on Matthews for his 7th punt of the afternoon. Isaac Brown back to receive it if he can get to it, but it sails out of bounds. Bill Hayes not happy with that offensive series. His Aggies lead 21-13.
Whole lot of contact in the secondary all afternoon long. This time I think McCoy is going to get flagged for some pass interference. Gray definitely rolling the dice, however, throwing into double coverage. And there's number 25, McCoy.
And that will be an automatic first down for the Rattlers.
Rattler offense is sort of seizing momentum of the game. Let's take a look at the penalty right here. Tried to run a little square route, and he's held up right there by number 25, and that's just something you cannot do.
On first down, Allen with the reception and out of bounds.
So I like what Billy Joe has done. Okay, I wanted to run the football in the first half. Now I can take advantage of my skilled players underneath the aggressiveness of the Aggie defense, and Gray doing a good job nickel and diming down the field.
Sam Smith, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin with you as Billy Joe's Florida A&M Rattlers trail in our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. 21-13 here in Greensboro, North Carolina on homecoming weekend for the Aggies. Quinn Gray out of the shotgun, has a receiver across the field. It's DeMar Bowe, and there's a late hit on Charles Parham.
Well, he was a little late getting there out of his break to attack the receiver. And he was also a little late regaining his composure and knowing when to ease up. Gray, confident after getting his bell rung, he sits in the pocket, and then Parham just, well, remember how we gave the bonehead award?
Personal foul on the defense. Late hit, out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And for the third weekend in a row, we have our bonehead of the week. And from the Broyhill collection, we'll give him a nice piece of furniture to sit on the bench and think about it. Not a smart play at all.
Penalties beginning to mount for the Aggies. We know that wears on Bill Hayes. His team playing so well, and penalties are putting Florida A&M in excellent position at the 14 on 1st and 10. Quinn Gray flushed out, still has time to throw, and basically throws it away in the direction of Isaac Brown.
Well, I think that's where he thought the better of tucking the ball under his arm and running that time after getting his bell rung. He had about 5 or 6 yards he could have played with, tried to force it into triple coverage, and it's fortunate that pass wasn't picked off. And Dollar Bill has got to be stressing right now. He's seen his offensive unit take the pressure off of FAMU, and Gray putting the pressure on his defense.
On 2nd down from the 14 out of the shotgun, Quinn Gray. On the ground to Lordius. Fumble. A&T recovers. Another break for the Aggies.
Well, you just get the feeling sometimes that there's some intervention on homecoming Saturday here in Greensboro. This a direct snap. He had a wall, blockers in front of him, helmet on the football, and Lordius puts it on the turf. Yep. Maybe there was a stray hand in there, but that is a backbreaker. And you know, last year, Bethune-Cookman on homecoming was driving after trailing down at the other end of the field. Alan Suber threw an interception that changed the momentum of the contest. Could that have happened here again today?
The turnovers mount against Florida A&M. First and 10 for Phillips and the Aggies, and it's Hicks breaking through across the 15-yard line.
Well, I'm sure at this point in the contest, Bill Hayes is just going to line it up, use those big nasties up front who average about 300 pounds, and take arguably the best back in 1AA, with all due respect to Adrian Peterson, and just try to run it down the Rattlers' throats right here.
Our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week comes to you from Greensboro, where this man, Maurice Hicks, has become something of a local legend.
And you know something? The beauty of this game to this point, of course, if you're an Aggie fan, is the fact that this has been a workmanlike 70-some-odd yards. He's going to end up with 100 yards today, and it's not going to feel as explosive, but it was. Simply because he, just like Bill Hayes told us yesterday, goes about his job, wouldn't even know he's there.
Well, since starting last year against Florida A&M for the first time in his career, he has 100-yard-plus games in all but 2 of his games.
6 players on the line of scrimmage on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still down.
That's another one of those mental mistakes that Bill Hayes simply cannot count.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head, and they keep letting Florida A&M off the hook, and the efficiency of this Rattler offense has been such that their defense pins them back right here. They'll still be in pretty good shape.
Well, deep in their own territory, Hicks gets the call, breaks about 3 tackles where he's finally down at the 11-yard line.
You see, after this relentless pounding through the first 2.5 quarters or so, Hicks is getting stronger, and the defense is beginning to weaken. These guys that were making these arm tackles in the first half are now bouncing off. He's spinning through them. He's picking up positive yardage after the initial hit.
Hayes told us yesterday that he's never coached anyone like him. He's the most amazing player he's ever coached. Never asked for a rest, just keeps going, just like this. Here he comes again, takes 2 players to bring him down, Copeland and Levy Brown.
And Brown is slow to pick himself up off the turf after trying to bring down number 22. I mean, they're just going to pull everybody, nothing fancy, give him a little lane that he cuts up through, and then he just lowers his shoulders and drills people. Look at it. It's an efficient, workmanlike performance.
That sets up 3rd and 3 from the 21-yard line. Hayes says this young man is the best back he's ever coached. That includes Timmy Newsom of NFL fame at Winston-Salem State. Hicks again. This time he's caught, and quickly, by the Rattler defense.
Yeah, that time a little bit of a run blitz coming from the outside. Carlos Moore from his corner spot turns it back up inside, and Hicks goes down, losing a couple yards. And the Rattler D has stepped up. Yeah, it was big for the Rattlers to keep A&T inside their 20-yard line so they could get better field position. You see, he tried to go off that little trap up the middle. He ran into a sea of orange and white.
That is now 2 of 12 conversions on 3rd down for A&T. Matthews punting away for the 8th time in this game. Will Brown get a return on it? Gets it at the 50, stumbles, and has some room up the near sideline before he's hammered out of bounds. Arthur Wilson saying hello.
Man.
So A&M with an opportunity once again to get a bit closer, trailing A&T 21-13 in Greensboro. First down, this no-huddle offense of Billy Joe comes out and gets going and doesn't stop.
Well, there was major confusion, and it's almost like when you break the holes on your notebook paper. They're scattered everywhere. Well, so too was the Rattler offensive line that time. The pressure came in, forced Gray to release the pass. Lucky it wasn't intercepted.
2nd and 10 from the 39-yard line for Florida A&M. Quinn Gray, record-setting quarterback for the Rattlers, out of the shotgun, has DeMar Bowe. And Lance Gannier had him.
Boy, I tell you, whoever's the masseuse in Tallahassee is going to work overtime, because these receivers have been taking licks and just springing right back up all afternoon.
That sets up 3rd and 4 at the 33. Third down conversions we spoke of a moment ago. Gray under pressure, gets it off, and throws it away.
You know something, Quinn Gray that time, Dwayne, going into his best Alan Sugar impersonation of improvisation, pardon me. Look at him, get out, big trouble. 3 people bearing down on him, and he almost made the play. What you don't see is that DeMar Bowe had broken open, and he came oh so close to hooking up.
Asa Evans came oh so close to hooking up Quinn Gray. That brings on T.J. Smith to punt away on 3rd down. Neither team doing particularly well in conversions on 3rd down in this game. Some movement along the interior line, it appears. Flags in the backfield. Await the official's call. Florida A&M took the lead early in this game.
Hold up, it's apparently against A&T.
Another mental mistake for the Aggies.
Before the snap, 12 players on the defense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Wow.
Now that is a major moment in this game.
A couple of storylines developing here. The penalties against A&T, the turnovers for Florida A&M. 6 penalties, 53 yards. At Rattlers with only 1.
Charles Allen with a nice grab. There's a flag in the backfield. There may be unnecessary roughness on A&T.
Yep, roughing the passer.
So now, if you're Bill Hayes, you need to gather your troops and slow them down.
Yep.
Because right now, they're getting
the
away
passer
from playing their game.
On the defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, they're just losing it right now. The Aggies are too busy right now trying to deliver that knockout hit, and they're losing their composure. You see, right there, Jason Horton puts a shoulder into Allen instead of locking him up.
Let's check in with Sam Smith.
Dwayne and Mark, it's funny that this unnecessary roughness call just came against North Carolina A&T. One of the things FAMU head coach Billy Joe did during the halftime break was lobby the officials, complaining that the A&T defense was committing late hits against Quinn Gray and to keep an eye out for it. In fact, in that one play in particular where Quinn Gray had his bell rung, Billy Joe complained of a late hit. The ref said he saw the play. It was not a late hit, but they're clearly keeping a closer eye on the A&T defense and late hits against Quinn Gray. Back to you guys.
Well, on that last play, Sam, Gray overthrew Isaac Brown going for the end zone. But this game is becoming even more physical, Mark.
Oh, certainly. You know, like we talked earlier, there's not a whole lot of love lost. FAMU normally a finesse-oriented team. They had something to prove. And the Aggies on homecoming aren't backing down.
1:07 to go in the 3rd quarter of our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference game of the week. Florida A&M's Quinn Gray to the end zone, and there was very nearly an impressive catch made on the other end of that one by Junius.
They've hooked up on some great improvisational catches over the last few weeks, and this was almost one of them. Jail Blake up the middle. He sits in the pocket comfortably, and he throws it just high, and he's saying, get it for me, get it for me. Oh, I had you, big fella. Just a little bit lower now.
On 3rd down, conversions have not gone particularly well for the Rattlers in this game so far. Under pressure is Gray, flushed out, throws, and it's tipped away.
Well, if I'm Florida A&M, I think it's 4-down territory, but I think they're going to send Vasquez out.
Deloach, one of the defenders on the play.
Gray does a good job here, buying himself some time, getting out of the pocket, tries to throw it across the field, and he continues to throw in the triple coverage. That time he tried to force something. Now this should be automatic here for Vasquez.
28-yard attempt. He's already missed 2 today. And he makes it through the uprights. Ring up 3 more for the Rattlers, and Vasquez gets a bit of a breather after missing an extra point and a couple of field goals. North Carolina A&T now leads 21-16. 50 seconds to go in the third quarter from Greensboro.
And you know something? Billy Joe got to be licking his chops right now. Despite all he's gone through, the turnovers, the missed opportunities, he's within a touchdown, and a touchdown would give him the lead. So despite everything, the missed field goal opportunities, if their defense maintains control here like they have, Florida A&M is setting up for a fantastic finish, if you will.
Lennon Nesbitt with the kickoff. Jamal Jones will let it roll through the end zone. And A&T will take over possession at the 20-yard line.
Well, you know, if I'm Billy Joe right now, I'm probably definitely going to become a lot more aggressive with my run blitz packages and take Hicks out of the mix and force him to beat me up top. Let's take a look at the National Car Rental scoring drive. Dwayne, 8 plays, 28 yards, 1 minute and 18 seconds. Vasquez now 1 of 3 after making that 28-yard field goal and injecting some life. You can see that swinging pendulum of momentum now making its way to the Rattler sideline.
Uncle Mo might be wearing orange and green at the moment. A&T, 1st and 10 from the 20. Hicks, no surprise on that call. Rattlers expecting that, as were we.
Well, see, now I think Bryson becomes such a big factor in the A&T offense. You know, you got to fake some of that stuff, fake a dive and let your tight end release into the center of the field. They had some success getting Booker Washington down the center of the field between the hashes a little bit earlier in this half. And I got to believe right now that the X factor on offense for the blue and gold has to be number 88.
On 2nd down, Jones in motion. Phillips has a receiver out of the slot. And that will not be enough for a 1st down. That's shifted. That will call an end to the 3rd quarter. Phillips and the Aggies lead at 21-16 on homecoming 2001. It tastes good for the Aggies at the moment.
Lead over Florida A&M. The 4th quarter has been a bugaboo for the Aggies in the past 2 years. In their last 3 conference losses, 2 last year to Howard and Delaware State, and last week to Morgan State, the Aggies blew 4th quarter leads. They had a double-digit lead last week at Morgan State, and of course last year against Delaware State, they blew an 18-point lead in the final 6 minutes of this game. So this one is far from over. A&T has had trouble putting people away in the 4th quarter. Mark and Dwayne, back to you.
Outscored 18-0 in the quarter last week, as you mentioned, Sam. So Bill Hayes has the hope Maurice Hicks can get it going for his offensive unit.
Good work out of you, Sam. That's quality stuff, because, you know, it's never about how you finish the game. It's all, how you start it. It's all about how you finish it.
On 3rd and 2, the aforementioned Aggies, Hicks gets the call, breaks a couple of tackles. But Carlos Moore doesn't let him get it so far.
Picks up this 1st down, does Hicks, because of the perpetual motion of his feet. I mean, they are always moving. It's like his feet and his eyes are always working in concert.
That sets up 1st down for the Aggies, holding a 21-16 lead as we have the opening moments of the 4th quarter unfolding. A poor pass by Damian Phillips.
And there's not even a whole lot of pressure on him that time. They do a good job of protecting him up front. He just throws that one into the turf. I mean, this isn't the shot put pit. Watch him. Is he qualifying for the Olympics? It's just a horrendous pass.
Intended for Jamal Jones. Well, Jamal Jones was in the general area.
Horrendous.
Phillips' numbers. 84 yards for the game. John Edwards and Rattler defense looking to bear down and turn the ball back over to their offense. Phillips to the air again. This time he has a man. Marcus Bryson, the tight end.
I thought that was the guy he had to start looking for in the short passing game to try to take the pressure off of Hicks. Anyway, and they finally got around to him. Listen, you got a big guy like number 88 who does nothing but throw a block and release into the flat. He's a big target too at 6'4", 245. Throw him the ball. Throw it high, let him go after it, get it, and put him in a position where he can punish defenders who are coming up to try to bring him down.
That pickup of 14 yards sets up a first down for the Aggies at their own 45-yard line. 1st and 10. They'll probably try and keep it on the ground more. They have the lead. Sean Kelly has the running back.
I think they tried to cross him up that time by going with the fullback, Talib Smith. Just something to keep him honest, and that cost him about 3 yards. So a 2nd and long, 3rd and long situation. These are not the prime opportunities for success for Damian Phillips.
5-point advantage for the A&T Aggies. On 2nd down. Booker T. Washington on the reception. That's a first down.
Short drop, good protection, and an outstanding pass over Copeland and Kelly, who were there. And great concentration by Washington, who takes one hit, and were it not for Saquon Doe, he might be still running right now. And the Aggies doing an efficient job of moving the chains via the pass here.
That sets up a 3rd down situation now. 3rd and 2 on that 10-yard pickup. Phillips, play action, has a receiver out of the backfield. Adrian Parks. That is a first down.
Well, Phillips had to make a play, and he does just that. This is textbook quarterbackmanship. Fake, play action, then he's going to hide the ball and roll to the near side, and then gets outside and delivers a strike into the flat. And look at his reaction. Yeah, baby, that's a big first down.
Although that's not a huge play, 13 yards, that can be a confidence builder when you're having the problems with your mechanics that Phillips is having.
Indeed, and it's a quarterback-friendly pass that's designed to be a high percentage opportunity to move the chains.
So the Aggies now have the ball at A&M's 34-yard line, and they give it to the All-America Hicks, who is powering his way on into Florida A&M territory.
You know, A&T's fighting for their MEAC championship lives as Scott, number 56, is hobbling off for Florida A&M. And this is a championship caliber drive. Great surge at the point of attack, which allows the opening for Hicks to find the seam and dance his way on down for significant yardage.
The interesting thing about this drive, you spoke earlier about the need for balance. 4 passes and 4 running plays so far in this drive. On 2nd down, it goes nowhere. Levy Brown, Fortson converging at the ball and carrying.
Bill Hayes coming with a new wrinkle. Hicks and Parks in the same backfield at the same time, Dwayne. Remember, it was Parks who Hicks supplanted at the starting tailback spot last year going into the FAMU game in Tallahassee, and now they're in there at the same time. You talk about coming full circle.
Phillips rolling right, keeps it. Has room to run. Touchdown, Phillips.
Well, Dwayne, if he can't beat you in the air, he'll beat you on the ground. This was an outstanding drive, well executed by Damian Phillips. It's an option. So they're going to take the outside pitch man away, Hicks, and that allows him to cut back up the inside to the center of the field. And Phillips, after he breaks containment, can walk into the end zone. And here with almost 11 minutes to go, things are looking pretty good for A&T.
A 29-yard run by the quarterback for a touchdown. Pat Simcox on for the extra point. It's good, and the Aggies expand their lead. 28-16, North Carolina A&T over Florida A&M in our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week, and the quarterback does it on the ground as the Aggies run up to 28.
Come through with a clutch scoring drive, and that's exactly what they did. Started with the arm of Damian Phillips, who found Booker Washington. They continued to move into FAMU territory. He does a good job off the play action fake. He finds his receiver Parks out here in the flat, and then the option play, he goes dive to Hicks, who continues to work into the secondary. And then watch the touchdown here. It's an option, fakes the pitch, cuts back up to the inside, and he takes it to the house. And all of a sudden, North Carolina A&T leads 28-16. And the coach on the left is struggling right now. The coach on the right feeling pretty good.
Well, I don't know if we'd go so far as saying Bill Hayes is feeling pretty good at the moment.
He's up 12. Well, there's some people that are feeling pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, their Aggies are leading. The kickoff from Simcox is out of bounds. Isaac Brown had a bead on it.
Well, he's perfected the kick out of bounds.
Our National Car Rental scoring drive. 11 plays, 80 yards, 413. That 29-yard run, the 413 stands out.
Certainly, because it shows that the offensive line was able to assert themselves. And the thing I liked about that drive, Dwayne, was the balance. There were 6 runs, 5 passes. You can't ask for more efficiency and more balance on the drive than you got in that particular situation. And now Quinn Gray, has got to step up, and he's had a great game. But let's take a look at the apparent infraction. I'm just wondering how this will work. Ball was kicked out of bounds, and there might have been some unsportsmanlike action as well.
This is the one part of the game that when either team seemed to have been able to get something going this afternoon, one of these would surface, a penalty that just didn't make sense, and it would hurt. Bill Hayes can attest to that.
He had that personal foul on the last drive that Florida A&M scored a touchdown on. There was a penalty after a late hit out of bounds.
Got a kick out of bounds on the kicking team. It's a dead ball, personal foul on the receiving team. We're going to mark off 5 yards on a re-kick, 15 yards, so it'll be a kick off from the 50.
Okay.
Why not just put the ball on the 20-yard line? Because he's going to kick it out of the end zone.
Boy, the penalties are really becoming a factor in this game. Billy Joe, one of 3 coaches in Division I AA with 200+ victories. Played 6 years in the NFL.
Well, look at that. I mean, 3 conference titles, and he's been runner-up 3 times. In 6 years, he's done no worse than second place in the conference.
Erudite man, undergrad degrees in history and economics, master's degree in secondary education. As we watch the kickoff sail beyond the end zone.
So that erudite thing, does that mean he's like a master of many things and a jack of none?
Very bright and intelligent man.
Wow.
Worked as a stockbroker for a while, but said it wasn't for him.
All righty then.
Member of the Philadelphia Eagles 1980 Super Bowl staff. Was a fullback for the AFL. Played for the Jets, the Bills. Matter of fact, one of his former coaches, Lou Saban, 80 years young.
Is back at what, Shawan College, is it?
As a head coach at Shawan College in North Carolina. Gray on first down, trailing 28-16 with 11:07 to go in the game. Our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. North Carolina A&T and Florida A&M. and Charles Allen doesn't hold on to it. That was catchable.
It certainly was. Maybe Gray led him a little bit too far, but you got to haul it in. You don't have too many more chances left in this contest.
Allen, 6'4", 208-pound junior from Miami. Usually lines up in that slot.
Consummate possession receiver.
Gray working out of the shotgun again. This is something that the last time we saw A&M, they were able to make better of rushing. Marvin Blackstock is all over Charles Allen after that reception.
Well, that's just a situation when you got a big lineman covering a receiver. Something's gone dreadfully wrong with that pass route. He's not able to get off the line of scrimmage. Nice little move there to put the frequent, I believe that was Eduardo Freeman.
On third down, Gwynn operating out of the shotgun. The Rattlers trail 28-16. DeMar Bowe on the near sideline with the reception.
And this is what Florida A&M has to do. Take the underneath stuff, but anything less than a touchdown here, and we'll start talking about next week.
Eddie Ravenel defensively on the play. That sets up a first down, though, so the Rattlers still on the field and moving. Gray out of the shotgun. This time he has Brown, who does not fool the Aggies defensive unit as they close quickly.
Boy, they sure did. I mean, you're just going to watch. I think this is designed to be receiver screen, and they throw the little swing pass out there. A&T's linemen do a good job of getting out there, not buying the fake down the center, stringing that play out, making the stop.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Gray under pressure, gets it away, throws it away.
That's a good play by Gray. Not only does he stop the clock, he doesn't take the loss of yardage.
Well, Blackstock was bearing down on him.
Once again. I mean, this kid gets off the line and is just beating everybody. But Quinn Gray's showing some strength there with the little stiff arm so he can get that pass off. Third and 10 right here, Dwayne. It's a huge play.
Conversions, 6 of 16 for Florida A&M. Not much better at all for A&T. This is a key possession for the Rattlers, trailing by 12. Gray has a receiver who bobbles it and then comes down with it.
Well,
Marco Junius.
I think he leaped before he had to, and he had to go back up there to catch it. Good protection this time. This is a strike that's bobbled and then hauled in by Junius. Guys up front doing a good job, giving him a lane to throw into that time. He squares it off into the open area, and he makes the play.
And that was a first down. On the ground this time, and close to another first down.
That's a
O.J. Marchbanks.
Yeah, that's a nice play to call after you've gotten downfield with a vertical pass on the previous play. We haven't seen Lordius since he's fumbled, Dwayne.
2nd and 1 from the 49-yard line of A&T. 9:40 to go in the game. Gray under pressure and goes down. Montrell Pittman on the blitz.
And chalk that one up to the secondary because he had to double clutch, reload, and then try to get the ball down the field. And when he double clutches, see, watch, he wants to go now, he has to pull it back, and then he takes a shot from Pittman and company. See, he wants to let it go about right here. He's got to think about it, and he pays for it after that.
A loss of 9 sets up 3rd and 10 from the 42-yard line of Florida A&M. Marchbanks the setback along with Gray. The Rattlers trail this one 28-16 in Greensboro at Aggie Stadium. 34,000 plus on hand. Gray, time to throw, has Allen. Another first down on a third down situation. That's 2 successive third down conversions for the Rattlers.
And we got a personal foul, a roughing the passer call on Gray once again, who's slow to sort of get back to a prone position. And 15 yards, a little coy lobbying at the end of the first half. He has all day, and you're right, somebody just tees off on him. Pittman is able to make the stop. But again, the protection up front allows Allen to complete his route. That's one of those kind of calls that you get after you've lobbied. Brad Holmes, the guilty party. Billy Joe does a good job lobbying, and his quarterback's taking some shots.
And that type of thing is maddening to that man. Look at those numbers, that last line. 7 of 68, 7 for 68 yards.
So the question now becomes, is he mad at the refs for making the call, or is he mad at his players? But he cannot like that.
Billy Joe's Rattlers on the move, trailing by 12. Ball at the 30-yard line of A&T. 1st and 10. Quinn Gray, battered but still up. Here comes a blitz. He gets it away. Overthrows Allen.
Dwayne, Charles Allen quit on that route just a little bit. If he continues to run all the way through the route, he probably is able to go after it and get this football. He eases up in the route, and Gray is going to throw the ball to a spot because he can feel the pressure of Asa Evans, who's just a half-second late delivering that shot. And if Allen continues to run all the way through with vehemence, see, look, he's throwing to a spot here because he knows he's going to take the shot from Evans. And he gave his receiver a chance. Receiver wasn't there.
It's now 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line of A&T. Time becoming a factor. The Rattlers trail by 12. 8:29 to go. Quinn Gray out of the shotgun. Another blitz is on. He gets this one off, and it was nearly intercepted. Nice defensive play by Timothy Blow.
Boy, the big D lineman was out there. He drops back into coverage because the pressure comes from the inside. And Blow, a 260-pound junior out there in coverage, gets the big meat cleaver up and almost picks it off. And Quinn Gray, lucky to dodge a bullet there.
So this sets up another third down scenario, the third consecutive one for the Rattlers. They've converted the last two. 3rd and 10 from the 30. Gray with time to throw, and it's underthrown.
Okay.
Intended for Allen.
Check that. I think
Isaac Brown.
Yeah, he was going for Brown, who had broken off much like Allen had on the previous 2 third down possession plays. He broke it right into the center of the field. Gray had to release it just early. And I'm shocked that T.J. Smith is going to come out on the field here with the Rattlers trailing by 12, needing 2 scores and coming up on 8 minutes to go here in regulation. The riverboat gambler Billy Joe not rolling the dice here.
Curtis DeLoach back at his 7-yard line. Smith trying to poach a punt off into the corner. Now there will be a lot of lobbying here for ball positioning. Billy Joe and his Florida A&M Rattlers have an uphill battle here in Greensboro. They trail the Aggies 28-16. Athletic Conference Game of the Week. North Carolina A&T has just scored. 3-yard touchdown run by their quarterback Quinn Gray. Pulls them to within 12. Now we come down to the chess match time. The man on the right has to figure a way to get over the top. The man on the left, a way to keep his team down. Onside kick by the Rattlers. It does not work. Backfires. Marcus Bryson. Touchdown A&T.
That's why you got to let the big fella touch the football. Wow. Well, they get the high bounce that they want right to the wonderful hands of Marcus Bryson, who once he gets it is virtually unabated to the end zone. See, on that onside kick, you want the ball to roll and get the high bounce right into the waiting hands of Bryson, and he just outruns everybody. And the Aggies once again making big plays against Florida A&M. And Billy Joe has got to go back to the drawing board to try to figure out how to beat North Carolina A&T when the two teams meet in Tallahassee in 2002.
A 52-yard return by the 6'4", 245-pound tight end from Lawrence, South Carolina. That may very well have done it. With 5:02 to go, the pending extra point by Simcox would make it 42-23. And those are the numbers at the moment. That was the absolute worst person short of Maurice Hicks to have the ball, the ball in the hands.
Give credit where credit is due to the A&T coaching staff for having Bryson on the hands team all the way just on the inside of the FAMU sideline, and he makes a play. And obviously Bryson has his own fan club. A number of people wearing the number 88 jerseys, I'm sure. His family members. I guess folks right now can start heading back towards the tailgating areas and to the various establishments, Market Street, and out by the airport, because there'll be a fun time in the city here.
We mentioned over 34,000 fans made the trip to Aggie Stadium for homecoming 2001.
And with all due respect to everybody else in 1AA, you won't see this at Rhode Island's homecoming.
And there are all manner of poultry and pork and every other meat you can imagine on grills and just outside the stadium. Mighty tasty too.
Yes, it is. And my Uncle John Paul Gray once said, "I have not lived until I've begun to eat."
Was that the one that served during the Revolutionary War?
Him too, yes.
I thought so. Isaac Brown now with the kickoff of Simcox. The Rattlers are in a very, very deep hole with 5:02 to go. The Aggies have taken control 42-23. They have taken advantage of some big plays in this ball game. Brown elects not to run it out of the end zone.
Well, Dwayne, we got a week off next week, and we'll see the Rattlers again in a couple of weeks. And we're going to have the, like I said last week, we're going to watch this championship battle unfold. And there are still 5 minutes to go, but the Aggies leading by 19. One would assume that you could put this in the W column. And you know, I guess there's been some semblance of order because last week was a tough week for the MEAC. I mean, we consider the out-of-conference losses by Hampton, soundly thrashed at home, by Tennessee State hammering Howard, and then, of course, Morgan beating A&T. It really hurt the strength of the conference, so puts a premium on these conference victories, and we have a new quarterback.
Quinn Gray is done for the day. Lemuel Adams, 6'3", 200-pound senior, now in from Sacramento, and he immediately feels the pressure of a fired-up Aggie defensive unit.
They're coming right up the middle, and they've been successful with that blitz coming up the middle. This time, Joel Lowe in there on the stop, but 5 sacks for the Aggie defense this afternoon. Only 1 for Florida A&M.
A&M came in ranked 16th in the nation. 4-0 in the conference, 4-1 overall in first place. Clearly they will fall in the rankings. To the air goes Adams. He has DeMar Bowe defensively on the play was Eddie Ravenel.
And the point I was trying to make about last week and how it affects the conference from the strength of schedule standpoint, you start thinking about 1AA tournament bids, and I think last week might have sealed the MEAC's fate as far as getting a second team into postseason. So you got to win it if you want to play for the bling bling.
On 39 from the 21, Adams running for his life, gets it off. The Aggies were coming fast and furious, and there is a swagger to their movement right now.
Oh, well, they can sense it. You know, look at Adams sitting behind the pocket. Lowe once again in there with some help from Timothy Blow and a cast of thousands. We saw Adams against Howard. He looked like a superstar. That time, looked like a deer caught in headlights.
T.J. Smith back to punt. Deloach waiting at his 40-yard line. Deloach studied for a moment, then decided to run. And Carlos Moore just bulldogs him out of bounds. Florida A&M will not be off next week. They will be home to Norfolk State. It'll be their homecoming.
And I wouldn't want to be Mo Forte's team. Watch this block coming up around the corner. Listen. Well, trust me, it was a crushing block. There's some big-time pad-to-pad action going on there, and Hicks has set it on the sidelines right now.
So the Aggies, with 3:37 to go, appear to have this one well in hand. Phillips going to the air, looking for more, has a receiver!
Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Tim Walls, a sophomore, coming off the bench for a huge catch, and that is Saquon Doe. Boy, looking run, play action. He gets a step on the defensive back. Then it becomes a foot race to the end zone. And from the backside, Doe is able to track him down. Boy.
Question mark, Gray. It is 42-23 with 3:27 to go. You have the ball clearly in control. Are you trying to make a point on a play like that?
If anything, you might be trying to play yourself back into #1, into national rankings. I think that's just a situation right there where Bill Hayes was looking to impress the folks outside of Greensboro. I don't think he's running up the score there. I think he wants to give his team some confidence. And again, remember, they tried to really pull the air out of the football with a run play, and it led to a 70-some-odd yard touchdown. So when you're putting it up to that point, you'd effectively been doing Florida A&M's defense a favor.
A 51-yard reception for Walls, and that sets up a first down near point-blank territory for Bill Hayes' Aggies, who next week will be home to Howard. Hayes is the all-time winningest coach in A&T history. Led Aggies to 3 MEAC titles.
Let's just go ahead and do the right thing in Greensboro. Name the field after him. All right, just go ahead and name the field now. All right, and just go ahead. Make it Aggie Stadium, Bill Hayes Field. Deal with it. Do it. Everybody's always hating on Coach Hayes. As you can see, they go to Atlanta for a big matchup with Jackson State, which ought to be a good one because Jackson has a very talented offensive team. We'll have him on the 10th of November at Hampton, and how big will that be? Bill takes the shower.
And you know what? You're not going to see him smile. He will not do that. He says, I'll catch you. But you know what? Bill Hayes loves these young men. Bill Hayes was honored by the National Boy Scouts Council for his work with a program that is involved with bringing urban youth into the Boy Scouts. He's been involved with it for 12 years, and it means the absolute world to him. We talked to him at length about it, and it means a lot to him. Very important to him to get young men involved in the Boy Scouts and connect with them. Aggies keep it on the ground, doesn't go anywhere, and what he also does with that organization is his young players who are in school in the summer, they pay for their education, but the trade-off is he makes his players go spend the night at Boy Scout camp and connect with the young men and the children.
I thought it was interesting that he said to us that, you know, that's where he knew he found his niche in black colleges.
Offensive holding, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
He said that, you know, this is his niche. He knows he's home. He knows that anytime he can go about the business and having an impact on, you know, young kids' lives, he says often that you find really affluent, successful African-American men who become so consumed with their career, they don't put anything back. And this is something he takes a whole lot of pride in.
Bill Hayes, outstanding citizen, outstanding coach. His Aggies are on the brink of a 3rd consecutive victory over the Florida A&M Rattlers, leading 42-23 on their homecoming 2001. Sam Smith, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballinow, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week. Pass thrown away deep into the end zone. Lots of Aggie pride being evinced at the moment.
That time he was trying to find his talented receiver, Marcus Bryson. And you talk about picking it up from a passing standpoint. Damian Phillips has seen the passing percentage improve dramatically here in the second half.
Happy group of Aggies.
I guess they did earn the right to celebrate a little something right now, would you say?
Now, you've been rather hard on this young man for a good portion of the day, and justifiably so.
Yeah, but he made enough big plays. When it's not working, I think the thing that turned it around was the 29-yard run for the touchdown. That loosened everything up.
On second down, he has a receiver, Booker T. Washington.
You talk about a guy who's made several big plays.
Pick it up, pick it up. Pick it up, pick it up. Please pick it up. Go. Number 1, Aggies scored the fun.
Well, what are they asking them to pick up? I mean, they're leading by 19. Pick up anything else? What, they going to raise the field or something?
Your Florida A&M's defense, Florida A&M's team overall, this is a beating at this point now. It's becoming 42-23. How do you regroup? Touchdown, A&T.
Not like that.
Jamal Jones from Phillips. That is the dot under the exclamation point.
Indeed. This is just a strike. See, a far more confident pass, and Hart gets thrown. He tried to jump the coverage. Phillips felt the pressure and released it just in the nick of time. And he found Jones. But Hart, Troy Hart that is, tried to jump the coverage and play on the ball. He missed. Jones takes it to the house.
8 yards on the score. Billy Joel, a lot of work to do when he returned to Tallahassee. Extra point by Simcox.
Let's talk about that in greater detail when we come back.
49-23, A&T in complete control. Our Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Game of the Week from Aggie Stadium. You were saying, sir.
Well, you know, I'm not quite sure if I would call this a beating. I mean, scoreboard notwithstanding, you look at the ebb and flow of this game. A couple of missed field goals at point-blank range, and we're talking about a game that's closer and played in a totally different fashion. Now, again, you know, you got Maurice Hicks making a huge play at a critical time. Florida A&M, despite their inefficiency at running the football, was right here late in the third quarter with a chance to win this game. So you shore up some things as far as the run game is concerned. They're not going to see the best back in the conference anymore this year. That's one good thing. They may have to work on a way of containing Mr. Allen Suber and Taji Parrish and the boys, but the bottom line is Florida A&M was in this game on the road and had a chance to win.
Our National Cardinal scoring drive, 4 plays, 54 yards, 1 minute, 17 seconds. The 8-yard touchdown reception from Jones.
And now Florida A&M, North Carolina A&T, both now with 1 loss in the conference. The only 2 undefeated teams in MEAC conference play are Bethune-Cookman and Hampton right now.
Pass attempts for Quinn Gray in this game. 60 last week, 65 today. 62 was the record. So in a losing effort, Gray sets 2 more Florida A&M records.
And you know, he traded all of that for a change in what's happening on the scoreboard.
Isaac Brown on the return.
And you know, the maligned Quinn Gray had really struggled with getting the credibility and the respect that he deserves in Tallahassee. You know, Jacquay Nunley, who's the all-time leading receiver in the history of college football, played at Florida A&M, and there's taking nothing away from Jacquay Nunley. But when all is said and done, I hope the faithful in Tallahassee respect and appreciate the record-setting career of Quinn Gray. I mean, all-time conference leading passer. I mean, there's been some very talented quarterbacks in Tallahassee.
The man behind center right now is Lemuel Adams, rolling to his right, trying to get it off to Charles Allen. Montreal Pittman. wasn't interested in allowing the pass to be completed. Your point taken well about the ebb and flow of this game. There were moments Florida A&M certainly was in until late. But the fact remains, they are losing a game they really thought they could come in and win, and by a sizable margin. How do you regroup?
You just got to go out and win the rest of your contests and hope that A&T slips up along the way. A&T does have a battle in Daytona Beach with Bethune-Cookman, which is no gimme.
Isaac Brown slips down as Adams throws it out of bounds.
Blakeney's still in there, enjoying the last few minutes of his collegiate career, it would appear. But, you know, A&T has some potential potholes along the way yet to be played in the conference. You know, they have Hampton coming here. They have to go on the road to Bethune-Cookman. A couple of games I think we'll have here on the MEAC TV network. So it ain't over. They ain't out the woods yet.
On third down, Adams rolling to his left, going to the air, and he overthrows his receiver. It's intended for Maurice Dents.
That's about the second time we've called his number for a pass that was in his direction. But like we saw last year, A&T knocked off Florida A&M in Tallahassee. A&T then stumbled twice against Howard and Delaware State. Whole lot of football left to be played. Florida A&M picked themselves up off the deck. If they run the table, you know, they still can claim the conference championship outright. I don't think the winner of this conference will go undefeated this year.
Would like to take a moment to thank the media relations directors for the respective schools, Alvin Holmes and Kia Mason of Florida A&M and North Carolina A&T respectively. Thank both of them for helping making our job much easier this week.
And Quinn Gray, there will be a better day. And hopefully it may be in the next couple of weeks.
In addition to those numbers, he also set the record early on for the most pass attempts for a career at A&M.
And here we are in the middle of the baseball playoff season. You know, that's like a pitcher. You see sometimes major league pitchers with 65 pitches through 6 2/3.
Florida A&M has 97 offensive plays today. The record for them was 100 against Bethune-Cookman in 2000.
Wow.
But it's not always the quantity, it's the quality.
It is. And there were some drops early on that could have changed the complexion of a few things, but you can't take anything away from a solid performance by A&T.
TJ Smith kicks it away from Deloach out of bounds. Conversely, A&T has had 64 offensive plays in this game.
You know something, a couple of weeks ago, we went to D.C. to see FAMU and Howard. Billy Joe told us he didn't know about how good his team was. As we take a look at the Bank of America players of the game, Quinn Gray, 33 of 65, 338. 2 rushing TDs amongst the 3 he accounted for. And then, of course, Maurice Hicks, just another regular day at the office, the proverbial off day. Only carried the ball 29 times, only rushed for 169 yards, and only scored 3 touchdowns.
And that was with a hip pointer. New quarterback in the game for A&T as we have another touchdown by the Aggies. Monty Wiles.
Well, you know something? That's why they threw the football to take the air out of it. Amazing.
Monte Wiles with the touchdown run for the Aggies.
Well, the Rattlers struggled last year between that A gap, and watch this one. Supposed to go through the B. He gets right up in there, dances back through the inside with a nice hole set up by the O-line, and 45 yards later, Monte Wiles takes it to the house. I mean, they're just trying to run out the clock, and they sprung it deep. You've got 8 in the box like that, though. Like Coach told us yesterday, you'll either make a big play or you'll give up the big play.
The kick is up.
Simcox's extra point is blocked. So it's 55-23. North Carolina A&T is simply rolling at this point, late in the game.
You get the feeling maybe in order for us to get a close game, a white knuckler, a nail biter to go all the way down to the last 2 minutes, we might need to take a week off, perhaps?
We will be taking a week off on the MEAC television network next week, but we shall return.
That does not mean we aren't going to watch football. I think I'm going to travel down to Hampton next week. Let's take a look at the National Car Rental scoring drive. One play, 9 seconds, 45 yards. A 45-yard run for the touchdown by Monte Wiles, who came off the bench to spell the second string back, and he makes his name into the Aggie record books.
It's been a very enjoyable homecoming for the Aggie fans.
She's got that, what do you call it, that Queen's wave down thing? Is that like when you become a queen, you learn how to wave your hand like that?
I think it has something to do with finishing school or having grace.
Yeah, that's it, the beauty pageant wave. Something I know obviously nothing about. I broke more mirrors at Morgan than anyone should care to admit.
Isaac Brown mishandles the kickoff, but it is out of the end zone. So Florida A&M will have the opportunity, if nothing else, to match or pass its record of offensive plays in a game. Stands at 97 now.
Small consolation, huh?
100 is the record against Bethune-Cookman last year. I still suggest to Mark that had these numbers been a little closer, we may be looking at a different ball game.
You mean like if Florida A&M is around 0, perhaps, if they just break even? You're absolutely right, though. The passing game would have been far more effective if they'd have been able to jumpstart the running attack, but they've got to know, against A&T, it's been impossible for them to run for years.
Adams hands off to Williams. Williams fights his way.
Well, I wonder how
near a first down.
How Mr. Williams feels now. You know, he felt disrespected coming in, saying that, you know, A&T should not schedule a FAMU, and then all of a sudden they get hammered by 22. I don't make the news, I just report it.
These two men have been making it today. Better news for Bill Hayes as his Aggies are in complete control as we wind down time and approach a minute left to go in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Television Game of the Week. The executive producer of MEAC TV is Johnny Tyus. Today's game produced by Chris Grain, directed by Chuck May. Stats courtesy LeCount Conaway. Sam Smith, Mark Gray, Dwayne Ballin calling it for you. It's been a beautiful day. Actually, been a very interesting game. This one got away late.
Yeah, got away in the fourth quarter. You know, I thought coming into the fourth quarter, and we talked about it at the top of the stanza, that Florida A&T had trouble finishing games, and boy, they changed that.
Number 3, Williams.
Travis Williams on the carry. We're inside of a minute.
34 seconds left to go in the game.
And you know, A&T has been known to ease up after big wins. We saw that last year after their big homecoming win over Bethune-Cookman. They slipped up against Delaware State, and it cost them a shot at the championship. You have a struggling Howard team coming in. He's only got one conference win with nothing to play for than old HU pride. And the bottom line is, if you think there's no love lost between these two teams, there won't be any love lost next week. The Aggies can celebrate.
And it is over at Aggie Stadium. Homecoming 2001, a rousing success for the Aggies as they soundly beat the Florida A&M Rattlers 55-23. For the third consecutive time in this series, it's North Carolina A&T dancing its way to victory. Big game from a number of men for A&T. Maurice Hicks, the All-America running back, over 100 yards again, a big run in the second half. A&T doing everything right on big plays, converting turnovers, dominating the line of scrimmage, beating A&M in rushing. and coming away with a major victory, 55-23. The Aggies are squarely back in the race for the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Championship.
We got like 6 weeks to go in the season, Dwayne, and these next 6 weeks are going to be quite interesting. While we're black next week, the title chase will come more into focus, and in a couple of weeks, we got a bond run.
Our next game will come to you on the 27th of October. We hope you join us then. It's been a big day for Bill Hayes. Aggies over the Rattlers. Good night, everybody.